Happy New Year! Let the change begin. Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. You know what I love about a new year? It's not just the fresh start, it's that surge of energy that comes with it. I'm seeing it right now with my clients. They're rolling out new strategies, implementing new processes, bringing fresh ideas to the table. But here's what we need to talk about, because all of that newness, all those changes, well, they need to be led, and leading through change isn't as straightforward as you might think. Now, I work with entrepreneurs and business owners every day, and I see the same pitfalls coming up again and again when they're trying to guide their teams through change. So today, we're going to talk about these pitfalls, and more importantly, what you can do about them. Let's start with the biggest one, and I mean the very biggest one. Not having a clear vision and not communicating it effectively. So here's what happens. You, as a business owner, have this amazing vision in your head. You can see exactly where you want the business to go, what needs to change, how it's all going to work. But somehow, that crystal clear vision in your head turns into a murky mess by the time it reaches your team. And you know why that happens? Because you're living with that vision 24/7. You're thinking about it in the shower, while you're driving, while you're trying to fall asleep at night. It's crystal clear to you because you've been marinating in it. But your team, they're only getting snippets. They're getting pieces of the puzzle without seeing the full picture. Your vision needs to be so clear that anyone on your team can explain it in under 5 minutes. And I mean anyone, from your senior manager down to the newest hire. If they can't do that, then you haven't done your job in communicating it clearly enough. What's the real test? Well, when someone asks one of your team members what's changing and why, they should be able to answer without hesitating, without checking their notes, and without calling you. And once you have that clarity, you need to communicate it 10 times more than you think you need to. 10 times, I'm not exaggerating. You might feel like a broken record. You might think, I've said this 1,000 times already. But trust me, when you're at the point where you're completely sick of talking about it, well, that's probably when it's just starting to sink in for your team. So use every channel you've got, your team meetings, your one-on-ones, your email updates. Thread that vision through every business discussion you have. When you're talking about quarterly goals, connect them back to the vision. Discussing a new project, explain how it fits into the bigger picture. Make it clear how this supports where you're headed. And you've got to make it relevant to each person on your team. Show them specifically how this vision impacts their role, their day-to-day work, their future in the company. Because when people understand not just what's changing, but how it affects them personally, well, that's when they really start to engage with the vision. That's when they start to own it themselves. Now here's one that might surprise you. Overpreparation. Yeah, you heard that right. Look, I'm all for being prepared, but I've seen too many leaders get stuck in what I call the perfect plan trap. They're so focused on getting every detail right that they never actually start the change process. You need to find that sweet spot between planning and action. And remember, some things you can only figure out once you're in motion. Here's what that looks like in real life. I had a colleague, brilliant business owner, absolutely brilliant. She spent 3 months creating the most detailed implementation plan that I've ever seen. Every contingency covered, every possible scenario mapped out, beautiful charts, amazing spreadsheets. But you know what? Those 3 months she spent planning were 3 months that her competition spent actually making changes and moving beyond her. Because here's the truth about change. You can't plan for everything. The market shifts, team dynamics evolve, new opportunities pop up, unexpected challenges surface, and no amount of preparation can account for all that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying throw planning out the window and just wing it. But what I am saying is that at some point you need to take that first step. Start with a solid framework, yes. Have your key milestones mapped out, absolutely. but accept that you're going to need to adjust and adapt as you go. You know what often gets overlooked? The emotional impact of change. You see, as leaders, we can get caught up in the logistics, the processes, the numbers, but change hits people right in the feelings. And if you're not prepared for that, it can derail your whole initiative. Your team members are going to feel uncertain. They might be afraid. Some might even feel a sense of loss for the way things used to be. And you know what? That's normal. Of course they're going to feel uncertain. Their work environment is changing. Their routines are being disrupted. Maybe even their roles are changing. Even positive change can trigger these feelings. I've seen it happen with promotions, with exciting new opportunities, with changes that are objectively good for everyone involved. The emotional response isn't about whether the change is good or bad. It's about the fact that it's change. So you need to acknowledge those feelings and give your team the support they need to work through them. This isn't a nice to have. It's vital to your success. Set up systems, whether that's regular check-ins, peer support groups, or even bringing in outside help if needed. Maybe that's one-on-one meetings where you really listen, not just wait for your turn to explain why the change is necessary. Or maybe it's creating small group sessions where team members can support each other through the transition. And sometimes, yes, it might mean bringing in outside help, whether that's training, coaching, or other resources. Because here's what I know for sure. If you don't address the emotional side of change, all your perfect plans and clear communication just won't matter. People need to feel supported before they can fully engage with change. Oh, here's a good one. Celebrating too early. The new system is in place. The new process is running. Everything looks good. And you declare victory. Feeling pretty good about yourself, right? Maybe you even send out that company-wide email announcing the successful completion of the project. But I'm going to tell you something that might be hard to hear. You are nowhere near done. That moment when everything looks like it's running smoothly, well, that's exactly when you need to double down on your attention. Because change isn't just about implementing something new. It's about making it stick. You need to maintain that momentum until the change becomes just how you do things around here. Until your team stops calling it the new system and just calls it the system. Until they stop referring to the way we used to do it because they can barely remember doing it any other way. That's when you've actually succeeded. That's when you can really celebrate. When the change is so embedded in your company's DNA that it would feel strange to do things the old way. And trust me, that takes a lot longer than you think. And that brings me to my final point. What happens after the change? Too many leaders think their job is done once the change is implemented, but that's exactly when the real work begins. You need to keep supporting that change and reinforcing it, adjusting it based on what you're seeing in practice. Set up long-term support structures. Identify people on your team who can be change champions. Schedule regular check-ins to make sure that the change is really taking root. Remember, leading through change isn't a sprint. It's more like guiding a ship through new waters. You need to stay alert, keep adjusting your course, and keep your eye on where you're headed. Watch out for the pitfalls, and you'll be much better equipped to guide your team successfully through whatever changes come your way. So stay engaged throughout the entire process, from that first spark of an idea right through to making it the new normal. That's how you make change stick. That's how you build a stronger business. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe and share. And if you could use some help as you navigate leading and managing a team, check out the Leader's Journey Masterclass. We're here for you with micro courses, templates, guides, and a great community to answer your questions, quickly help you grow a team of superstars, and get you back to the business of running your business. Just use the link in the description for details. And remember, your inspired leadership is the secret sauce to having a high-performance team and a wildly successful business you'll love. I'll see you next time on Leader's Journey.